Here we go, game day on the Real Kyper and Bourne show. We are live on Sportsnet. Ready to go. Nick Kypreos, Justin Bourne, Derek Brandeo, Frank the Tank Baraska, and in for Daniele Franceschi. Franceschi.
What's going on?
OE. OS,
It's all kind of
Greeks, Italians.
Oh, it's definitely Italian, Kipper. Yeah, it's definitely. How's it going, gentlemen? Good?
Good.
Good.
To have
First
you,
time
pal.
on this chair this year.
I
It's
know,
great to be
welcome.
back with you.
Is it your first time?
Well, first time this season. Yeah. It's good to be back with you guys.
Well, we appreciate you coming in, first of all, because our boy Sammy, and to take a page out of the Toronto Maple Leafs, maybe he'll be in tomorrow. Maybe
day.
not.
Day. Upper body.
Upper body,
Day to
lower
day.
body.
Did he skate today?
Did Sammy skate today?
No one knows.
Can't take the day off because then Daniele Franceschi, who is a professional, will come in and do a really great lineup, and I'll have to hear it from Kyper for 3 weeks. So I decided to come into work.
The day after.
Well, wherever you're
It's really
watching
great,
and
by
listening,
the way.
Sportsnet 360, Sportsnet 590, The Fan in Toronto, or streaming always on Sportsnet Plus. We're glad you're aboard. Also available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. In about half an hour, we'll welcome in Craig Simpson, who's covering the game tonight.
Yeah.
Always great having his insight on the Toronto Maple Leafs. No one covers that team more than him and Chris Cuthbert. So great to have Simmer back on. In the meantime, the biggest news of the day, Leafs get back 3 key figures in their lineup. Nicolas, Matthew Knies, and maybe the most important, the captain, Auston Matthews.
He's back.
He's back.
The boys are
we
back
sure?
in town.
Are we sure?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
It's
we're
not
sure.
just a rumor.
No.
He spoke.
He did.
That's a thing.
He did. He did words that he is coming back and looking forward to being a part of it. The coach even said that he was around. He handled his absence well. He's happy to have his captain back. So because of that, that really changes their lineup for tonight.
There's a feeling, too, that they're hitting a Columbus Blue Jacket team that's a little underwhelmed in their lineup as well. Olivia won't be playing tonight.
No, he's out. No Olivier and no
Werenski
Marchenko.
and no Marchenko.
Werenski's in.
Werenski is in. He was a guy that left the last game early.
Yeah, leaves early, plays 18 minutes. That's
Yeah.
what happens when you're averaging 26 a night.
He is. That's the second most time on ice in the NHL.
you know,
I learned from your lineup.
I don't want to harp on this any more than we have
Oh,
to,
boy.
but it just seems so weird that like we woke up today to the news that these guys are coming back when it just seems so simple to me that yesterday before they left, Auston Matthews comes out, says, I'm good to go. The team needs me. I'm ready. Let's go. We're turning this thing around. The gray jersey yesterday, the mystery going into tonight, waking up this morning, not knowing. Just one last crack at telling me where the benefit was on that.
The benefit thing, I'm never going to be able to answer. I don't know the benefit. I continue to, if you believe, take them at face value. If you think they're operating in good faith, they genuinely don't know. They genuinely are like, we'll see if he feels good tomorrow. We don't know. I don't know. And we do have the captain talking about how he's feeling. If you would like to.
I would love to.
All right.
I would love to.
Let's do Matthew's clip 1, please.
Good. Yeah, really good. I mean, it's been a tough couple weeks, but I think over the last 4 or 5 days or so, skating, practicing, started to feel really good day after day. So, stacked some positive momentum there going into it, and feel like I'm ready to go tonight.
I would have loved that yesterday. Just to give the fans another a longer stretch of feeling
All right.
okay. He sounds like he's ready. Let's go.
Well, you got it today.
Yep, we
that
got it
looks
today.
like it changes their lineup a lot. As I mentioned, Sammy Blais has been waived, which some risk there. The coach likes them. No risk to you. No one's going to take him.
Buddy, he was in the minors all of last season.
Yeah,
I'm not sure there was another team willing to have
All right.
even given him one game this year.
All right, so Blaze going down to the Marlies, Quillen's going down to the Maris, Dakota Joshua and Matthias Michelli skated after.
They won't play tonight.
They won't play tonight.
They won't play tonight.
They're out.
Yes.
So
was someone listening to our show calling for, okay, like give Joshua a reset here up in the stands, one game?
yeah, I mean, this is we're talking about merit, right? This is a merit-based decision. He hasn't been very good. Michelli has not delivered. You know, I think he's probably been better, but these guys haven't been what was expected. So I got to tell you, I kind of like the look at tonight's forward group. Like, you're getting pretty close to what it's going to look like at full health. I guess if you wanted Joshua and Michelli, just need them playing better. But yeah, they have all hands on deck tonight.
I wonder if it's by design that they didn't skate line rushes today.
Not wanting to.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
that.
Just more of the secrecy.
Oh, my
Cloak and
gosh.
dagger.
November.
Yeah. Well, I know.
Give me again, playoffs. Give me down the stretch
Yeah.
with some sort of secrecy or not wanting to tip your hand, but November.
One of the things I admire most of really good teams is when they're just like, this is our fastball, see if you can hit it. You know, like, this is our lineup. It's the same every night. Go ahead and try to stop it. This is our goalie who's in net. Just like a great pitcher in baseball, like,
For sure.
going right at him with 100. Yeah, I don't get all the secrecy either. But anyway, so probably have Cowan out there with Nylander Tavares, maybe
Yes.
something like that.
Yes.
Knies, Matthews, and Robertson. You get
And-
Waugh,
and
McMahon, and Domi.
Yeah. The third line to me is the one that has to look good. You know, I guess you could say Nick Waugh out of the three is the one that probably you're satisfied the most out of the three
Of the new
and
guys.
of the new guys, Michelli and Joshua.
But, you're low bar, right?
Yeah, I think so. But I think there's still time for him to establish that he is the centerpiece around a third line checking. But what is that line? What is it going to ultimately be? Is Joshua going to come back and take his ownership of what was given to him in the first 22 games?
That's, remains to be seen. It's a big problem. I really like the bones of what you could do with something like a Waugh between Lawton and Lorentz. Like, doesn't that sound like
That sounds like a good fourth line to me.
yeah, like a Stanley Cup level fourth line?
Maybe,
But
yeah.
if it's your third line, then you're left with a fourth line of, Joshua, Michelli, Domi or something, which is not what you're looking for. So there's McMahon too. Like, I would say there's a legitimate good 4 pieces. And if Joshua's good, a good 5 pieces in your bottom 6. But if Joshua doesn't get better by February or something, I'm curious to see if they don't find him a new home.
I think they got multiple problems here. Like, I think
Yeah.
Domi's a bit of a problem too. Like,
Well, yeah.
Domi's got to start. He's got to turn things around.
He's got to find. He's
A
got to
home?
find a home,
Yeah,
a spot,
for sure.
a position,
Mhm.
a comfort of what you are and what you can contribute. And they have not been able to do that. But like I've said this on the show before, there's a number of guys that are looking for homes in terms of positioning.
Yeah. You got the stats on here. The Leafs' largest difference between even strength goal differential. So the Leafs are +11 with Matthews on the ice and -14 with him off the ice. That's their biggest one. Domi's the other way. They're
He's the worst of the bunch.
-12 when on the ice and +9 when he's off the ice. So you got to find something in the bottom 6 to be.
They need an identity line.
Yeah.
They need and I think, I think from what you've seen with Nick Waugh, there are elements of his game, the experience, the pedigree, the style, that is probably conducive to him being a part of some sort of identity line makeup. It's finding the other pieces that go along with it.
I just
right?
wish he had some energy. Do you watch that Oilers game at all last night? They had a kid come up, Clattenburg.
Oh, yeah. Scored his first goal.
Yeah, scored his first NHL goal. No one else in the Oilers did anything. He ran around. He hit 7 guys. He scored a goal. He was dying to get noticed.
But yeah, I'm watching that Edmonton game last night,
Yeah.
and I'm watching the goals scored on Dallas
Yeah.
that looked exactly like North America versus the World All-Star game. That's how bad it was.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
when you're just when you're tapping these goals and the crowd's barely even acknowledging them.
I was saying guys didn't even have to bend their knees in front of the net. They're just standing up and putting away loose pucks.
Tapping loose pucks, empty nets. I'm like, this is
but
weird.
Where I was going with that is they had no energy guys, so one energy guy stood out. The Leafs had a glimpse of that with Quillen. It'd be nice for them to find someone who's like, okay, my job is the energy guy. They've been light on that for sure.
All right, we'll get Craig Berube's thoughts on the injured players getting back and getting stronger into the lineup.
All right.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's a boost, right? It's a boost for our team, for morale. Getting our captain back for sure, and the other two guys are good players, important players. So, it's great they're all back tonight.
Do you try and spread out the wealth with these guys coming back? Do you have to manage your minutes at all? It's a lot.
No, it's a little bit. I gotta obviously manage what I'm seeing out there and how they're feeling, and for me, we need everybody tonight. All 4 lines going, all 6D going. So, like I said, the minutes will be spread out. For the most part, we need everybody.
Okay, other than just finding some way to end up with 2 points, this does feel a little bit of a reset.
It does.
Right? It just feels like this, it could be slotted tonight as a game where we can look back and say, okay, when they got their guys back, that's when it started looking a little different. That's when they started to believe a little bit more. That's when we saw more of Berube and maybe what we saw last year. But so specifically, what do you need to see tonight?
Right. So this doesn't feel like setting them up for failure to say that you should win this hockey game tonight.
Okay.
If you're a better team than last in the league, go ahead.
And how should you do it, though?
Yes. Okay. Puck possession.
Okay.
You have to have the puck for more than half the time. You have to create more high danger chances than the other team creates. And you have to have a power play that looks like an adult was in charge of it.
Yeah.
Those to me are the basics. Energy, control the play, competent power play. What do you think? You got anything to add to that?
No. You hit all the points. If I had to sum up what you said plus, what I say, and I don't know if you want to compare energy to pace.
Yeah.
The Leafs have showed zero pace. And
I agree.
Even last night with the Oilers, who are supposed to be one of the most fastest dynamic teams led by 2 of the best players in the world. In today's day and age, you need pace. And that's why I think a guy like Dakota Joshua has struggled right from the get-go.
Because he doesn't have it?
No pace. I see no pace on him. I see no forecheck on him. I don't see getting in first and then causing all types of havoc. I see a guy just barely getting there and then having a D have all types of time to make 1 or 2 decisions before he moves the puck up, and then he's chasing back up the ice on a back check.
It's funny.
It's pace to me. I want to see a faster pace led by Auston.
Yeah. It's funny because he doesn't look bad, Joshua. He looks like there's just nothing happening. The game's happening around him.
I got him slow, bud.
No, I agree that he looks slow.
Yeah.
But he's never, there's never any moments where I'm like, oh, he messed up badly.
He's not noticeable.
There, or he's out of position there. He just exists and kind of gets through the game.
Yeah.
Why don't we listen to what Berube had to say? It's just a quick clip here, clip 2 on the state of Joshua's game.
Just okay. We chatted today. He's got more to give, and he knows that, and he wants to give more. So it's just about getting him going in the right direction here.
I get what he's trying to do. He's just trying not to bury him anymore.
Well,
than
a
he
coach
already
never
is.
comes out and goes bad.
Good on
That's his way
him,
of
I
saying
guess,
it.
for
Yes, it
saying
is.
just
That's
okay.
Coach and ease for
That's
bad.
coach speak. That's
Because-
exactly it.
For $3.2 million,
Mhm.
that's just not okay.
No. Well, and the concern is that it's $3.2 million the next year and then the next year as well. So that is certainly a concern.
I mean, it's a fair question to ask. How do you get it wrong like that? How do you get it that wrong?
Yeah.
Your point's, I think, accurate, Kipper. He's slow. It's slow. And if he's not scoring goals and he's not going to be physical for you, then what's the utility? How did you arrive at that decision where you thought it fits the construct of your team?
I think general managers sometimes look at the best version of a guy's game and go, if we get that, we're good. And he was a part of a line with, I think, Teddy Bluger and Hoaglander maybe. some sort of like
Yeah, yeah.
really competitive third line where those two guys went and got pucks and hounded it and got it. And he kind of, he existed within that framework and it helped him. I don't think he drove it necessarily. And yeah.
Well, he benefited because obviously statistically he was good. He was good in Vancouver. He was productive.
Yes.
He was productive. I mean, there's a reason he got the contract he got in a sense, but I don't know. It does feel like a square peg round hole situation. They're struggling to find that spot.
Joshua said, I'm feeling there's a lot more season that needs to be played out. It's been a struggle at the start. Only thing is good thing is that it's only up from here. Team wise, we're in a spot. This doesn't have to be the end of the story. There's more to be written. He says his current focus is on making more plays and being a driving force out there.
Yeah.
I don't need him to make any plays.
And that's not to suggest he's the only one here.
No.
Nick Waugh has had a lot of games where I've seen no pace out of him either.
Sure.
Yeah.
And there's a number of guys, including Max and including Michelli, who've been underwhelming in that department. So if they somehow can regroup tonight and start picking up the pace as a team, maybe it'll be easier for him to kind of latch on instead of having so many guys suffering with him at the same time.
Yeah, it's funny. Like the
So
small.
I like this healthy scratch for him.
Yeah, I do too. I really do. And I like your point in that it feels like this can be a turning point. Okay, the guys came back. They're feeling a little bit better. What's interesting is the smaller guys kind of can drive some of this pace. Like Robertson on the top line is a bit of a motor, and Cowan on the second line, he's a bit of a motor. They kind of have at least a couple of guys who got some go-go in them. And then Yarncroc can do that alongside Lawton and Lorentz as well. I like that line. It's reliable.
Okay, I want to have a conversation. You got something?
I was going to say, just to go further on your point of calling it kind of a reset day or moment for them, it feels like a bit of an inflection point. Because now there are no more excuses of even I think we were past the excuse point. But now you can't just cite the injuries, right? You can't rhyme off, wow, look at who's missing.
Yeah.
They're still missing guys, sure. But now you've got your main horses in there. So you're beyond the point now of saying, you got to wait until you see what 34 looks like when he comes back. How about when you do get, more depth down the middle, Waugh comes back, and Knies, who's a power forward and a guy that really broke out last year. That's all going to happen. So this is the inflection point of them dictating what is the next course of action here.
Yeah.
Are you turning it around, or does Bradshaw Living and Company have to make maybe some more challenging decisions here as we progress a little bit further into the season?
Absolutely.
Okay. You want more Matthews? You want to talk about Matthews a little bit more coming back, including the Zadorov hit, or are you okay with that?
Did you hear his take on the Zadorov hit?
I did not. No.
It's interesting.
Okay. Let's have a listen.
I mean, I'm 3 feet away from the boards, and he hits me in, the numbers. But, I know his game, and, he likes to play hard. And, you respect that. But at the same time, I mean, maybe I could have put myself in a better position knowing that he's out there, to put myself away from getting hit like that. But in the end, it's hockey, and, you go through it, and it's all good. I mean, it's a couple weeks ago, and you just kind of move past it and do what you can to get back. And like I said, I'm feeling good and excited to get back in the lineup.
He almost said something inflammatory, and then he realized it was going to be inflammatory, and he reeled it back in.
But he didn't like the hit.
No,
which was
for
kinda
sure
nice.
he didn't. But
It was nice. At least he took a stance. We got something out of him.
He did take a stance, but then he was like, I don't want to have to deal with this next time I play Boston. He reeled in. He was like, he hits me from behind 3 feet from the boards in the numbers. But I respect his game and did the whole, he didn't like.
I don't know that he said he respects his game. He says, I know his game.
I know his game.
A little different there.
Okay,
Yeah.
so let's leave that, because maybe I'm going to revisit that a little bit here. But I want to get into Matthew Knies, who's, for all intent and purposes, before he got hurt, I think people would look at his point totals and say, yeah, good start to the season.
I'm the only one who's been
No. I want to get to this, but you've been on this, that you haven't particularly liked his game, despite this career best start from a production point of view. But he's back now. Let's go to Craig Berube on Knies, and then I'm going to ask you in terms of what you hadn't liked about his game before he got hurt.
I think it's right at camp. It was, something going on, and but didn't keep him out of the lineup, but nagging things like that can affect you over time because it's constant, it's every day, it's not getting better, it's not going away. So hopefully he's cleared up there and he's 100%.
Yeah, that actually makes me feel better. I feel better that he's been kind of battling something because you know what I haven't seen? Recklessness. I had in a way that I used in a positive way, like a big man like that just flies in on the forecheck and throws himself at someone who, the times we've seen him fight, the times we've seen him take the puck to the net. I haven't seen that sort of utter abandon out of him. He's been good. He's a good hockey player, but I haven't seen that recklessness.
I don't know if you ever will. I mean, I think he's been. This is the part that drives me nuts with him is that you see that he can. He's physically capable of it. He's built like a brick house,
Yes.
and you know that. And you want to talk about a key moment in someone's career. I'll go back to Vegas and White Cloud and the fight.
Yeah.
And that was like a wow moment for all of us. He was pissed off. He knew exactly what he wanted to do going into that game. He slept on it. He ate meals on it. And he went out there and he just looked at a guy and said, all right.
Yeah.
Okay. So going back to Zadorov and Matthews, isn't that the time to treat Zadorov like White Cloud for him in that game?
Who? Matthews?
No, Knies.
Oh, you want Knies to say to Zadorov, hey, pal. Whew, that's a big boy.
But you'll do it for yourself, but you won't do it for your captain. This is the part that I'm watching Knies, and I'm like, okay, I get it. Your personality isn't a Matthew Tkachuk where you're just going to constantly drive everybody nuts and call them on everything, and I get that. But, I don't know, once every 4 or 5 games maybe, or, what's good is if you have a couple of White Cloud fights, then they know that you're capable of doing that.
Willing.
And then you could actually look at somebody and turn down the temperatures without ever dropping your gloves because they know that you have that in you.
Well, it becomes, Clark Gillies back in the day, Tom Wilson today, where eventually you're controlling the game when you're out there just by going, no.
And he could be the Leafs' Tom Wilson, but I don't know what he wants to do. I don't know how he wants to play and what he thinks he's gonna he's gonna get his
80 points.
All right, but not
30
but
goals.
not that other stuff.
Well, it
right?
depends. Yeah, no,
for $7.5 million, we're just gonna hope and pray that you find a way to score 75 or 80 points, but not really get your nose as dirty as we saw against Vegas and White Cloud.
I feel some sympathy for guys who are physically big but just want to be hockey players, and everyone goes, you could be so much more. My college hockey roommate was a 6'4" centerman, and everyone's going, be mean. We want you to, get you in the American League. We want you to fight. And it's like he's a great player and won faceoffs and all that stuff, but that just, he wasn't that guy. That's not how he was wired.
Imagine how Matthews would have felt if he took care of Zadorov at any point during that hockey game.
But does it need to be nice?
Well, but it can be, and they don't
I
have
look
any
at
other
their lineup,
options.
You're right.
And I go, yes,
Yeah,
it
who
needs
else
to be
is-
him.
Sure.
It
fair.
needs to be him.
Well, you think of Wendell Clark in Toronto Maple Leafs fans. Wendell wasn't blessed with the gifts of Matthew Knies size-wise, right?
No, I
what
don't
would
think
Wendell
so,
have
no.
been with the physical brawn of Matthew Knies? A complete menace is what he'd have been.
Oh, my gosh.
It'd have been unfair.
Yeah.
And so for Knies, I think people are looking at him going, we know what you can do. But, then there's this whole debate. He's a great offensive two-way guy, breaking his hand and getting concussions in fights. I don't know, Kip. I don't know. I get what you're saying, what he could do, what he could be. Can you do it a few times just to let people know it's an option?
My favorite part of that, in terms of endorsing it, would be what you said about Tom Wilson, Bourne. Who's the other guy you named? You referenced
Well, my
this?
father-in-law, Clark Gillies.
Yes, Clark Gillies. Yeah, back in the day, which makes sense. I'm sure there were a lot of those guys back then,
Yes.
too. But the ability to police the game within the game.
Because how many times
Be
does
the
Wilson
big
fight
dog
a
in
year?
there. Right, yeah.
4?
So if you do it, that's the biggest. I think, for me, that would be, if
was
it's
the start-
tipping me.
It was that White Cloud fight for Knies was the start of building a really good reputation.
Sure.
Yeah.
And he hasn't followed up on it, and he's just let it like drift into the wind.
But curious if he has been feeling off. Does that have any impact? Like if he's been dealing with nagging, whatever, he just hasn't had that. Because there were times, Kip, where he would take that puck clean across the net, you know, like hit guys hard. I just felt like that element of his game hasn't been there this year. Tom Wilson fights by year. Last year he had 4 fights.
Four.
Yeah.
Four.
5 the year before, 4 the year
that felt
before.
like 40.
Right. Yeah. 4, 5, 4, 6, 4. Like that's
What is that? Like once every month and a
10,
half? 2
50
months?
Yeah, once
Yeah.
every 20 games.
Control your
Nice
sandbox.
doesn't have to do
There
it
you go.
often. He
Right.
just has to. This is a pick your spot league right now. I didn't get that luxury as much.
You got your spot picked.
Well, yeah, who
Right?
knows? Maybe when they face the Bruins
But-
next time around, and the captain made some comments now, and somebody will
I-
respond.
We
Maybe
have
it's
not
You know,
on
nice.
you
his
made a
nagging
valid
injury.
point. You know, maybe he's protecting himself. Maybe he signs his contract right now, and he going like, you know, I don't want to start my new contract concussed, you know, and hurt, and I'm going to play within my boundaries, not anyone else's.
But that does bring into light exactly what you're talking about. Do you have a guy who is protecting himself, or do you have a guy who's laying it out there, which, you know, depends what you want to see at a guy. Why don't we listen to Matthew Knies just on how he's been dealing with his injury?
Probably over a month, to be honest. Yeah, it was a while, but you know, it just was getting worse and worse, and to the point where obviously I couldn't play. So I just had to take care of it and take some time.
Is this something you have to manage moving forward, or did the time off kind of put it away?
Yeah, time off did a good job. You know, I think I can manage it well, but I'm sure I don't have to worry about it since I took this time to kind of heal it up and get it back to, you know, where it needs to be to play and to make an impact on the ice. So yeah, I'm just gonna take good care of it and yeah, move forward.
All right. What is that, groin? I don't know.
yeah, he tweaked something, and
All right.
I don't know. I mean, it's too bad you lost him for how long was he out? 2 weeks?
Yeah, something like that.
I think
November
less than
11th,
that. I
is
think
it?
it was.
Less?
I think it was
10
just a
days?
little bit less than Matthews. Yeah, a little bit less than Matthews. Matthews was November 11th.
Yeah.
So I think-
Carlo
yeah.
skating?
He
Yeah.
was seen on the ice today. He skated, so that one's coming back.
Yeah.
Still no tanning.
Tanev's a little worrisome.
Yeah, you hearing anything on that
No,
front?
I'm not. Other than that, you know, for a team that desperately needs him, not to put him in a position of coming back too soon.
Do you
I
think
think
his season's in
speaks
jeopardy?
to the seriousness of it.
Like, I wonder if they would get to a point where they'd say, LTIR, we got some money to spend here.
Listen, we watched the man carried off on a stretcher.
Yeah, 12 days
So,
after a concussion.
right? Like, we have no idea what that could mean from head to probably toe.
Mhm.
Like, let's be honest. Who knows what he's dealing with? And, you know, something that serious where you need to mobilize the neck. I mean, I don't know if his season's in jeopardy, but certainly the concern is that he's dealing with something serious now.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the concern.
Well, yeah. So they'll be careful with him. I obviously not expecting to see him till, God, I don't know, at least next year. So I don't mean next season. I mean the actual
2026.
2026.
Yes.
What else?
Well, I guess you know, the idea of Michelli being out for me is I'm not as I think it's probably good. Like, what's the harm or whatever? But I don't know if you happen to see quotes today where he was talking about trying to make it work in the Toronto Maple Leaf system with Craig Berube as a coach. He says, you want to make a play, and that's what's expected of you. But then at the same time, you don't want to turn it over at the blue line. So he says they want you to make plays, but they don't want you to turn the puck over. And then he laughed. This is an athletic article. Definitely not easy, but it's something I've been working on my whole career, so pretty used to it at this point. But he's like, they want me to make plays, but they don't want me to turn it over. You can't have it both ways. That's not how playmaking works. What do you want me to be here? You know, reading that article, they're like, they want him to be hard on pucks and competitive and make plays and not turn it over. And he's like,
And then he's like, I turn it over, and now I'm going to be sitting.
yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly it. That's what he's thinking.
He can't be the only one.
No, and you know what? If you look at the top turnovers per game, guys, it's all the best players in the league. They all get a pass, right? We understand that.
Yeah.
So to be a skill guy who then loses the luxury of getting to turn the puck over, it's a very tough spot to be in.
Sure.
And I think Max Domi suffers from that too. He's a playmaker who sometimes I come on here and go, he throws it away.
Right.
You got to give some of those guys longer leashes.
It's not hard to see how Michelli was scratched 34 times last season.
No, it's not hard to see. But I will say, I see some, I like the player. I can see how he can create. I like his competitiveness. I think he's got life to him. And
Sure.
there's something there with him. I don't know if he'll get
Skill,
there.
creativity.
Yeah.
But if you're not in a role that suits that type of skill set, hey, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
The question is, can you find it in time here?
I don't know. We should have you do that read.
Oh, yeah.
And
Let's do it.
then we get to Simmer on the other side of the
Are
break.
you producing?
Well, it's 4:30.
No,
I'm just
good call.
keeping an eye on where we're at here.
Good job, Borny. 50-50. Sick kids.
Let's have it.
Let's go. Who wants to win a bunch of cash while doing the best thing this holiday season? Sportsnet 590 The Fan is all in supporting the 50-50 Fortune for Sick Kids. It's a 50-50 draw, so the more money we raise, the more kids we can help, and the more money you can win this holiday season. The current take-home prize is, and I'm going to get you an updated number, we're over 112,000. Let's say $112,300. Buy your 50-50 tickets at 5050fortune.ca or text the word money to 590-590, and we will send you a link right on your phone. 18 plus, please play responsibly. Standard message and data rates apply. Lottery license, RAF 1518410.
God,
Well done.
that was so professional.
Oh,
Ray.
thank you.
Dynamic, error-free.
Did you go to school for that?
It's a good question, Kipper. Not really.
Not really?
In a way, yes, but not fully. Stumble into this.
Can you teach Sammy?
No, Sammy's
He doesn't want to learn.
Sammy's fine. Sammy's got the gift of gab. He does.
Sammy's got something right now. Hacking and coughing. Poor guy. He was hurting yesterday.
I definitely brought it.
He
for
finished
my
the game,
children
though.
to
Let's
write
give him
to
credit.
Stevie.
He finished the game.
He
battled.
did finish the
Yeah.
game, yeah. And then
While probably making us sick.
now he's on IR. Yeah,
It's okay, Sammy. We hope you're listening.
he's not.
No, he's not. He's resting.
I'm on leave. stock
Okay,
tonight
we'll
for
take
him,
a quick
too.
break. And when we return, Craig Simpson joins us. He'll be calling the game tonight. Leafs and Blue Jackets on Sportsnet. Back after these words. Welcome back to the program. Hey, Kypreos, JB, Disco Dan. Just sitting on our next guest, Craig Simpson, who will be calling the game tonight out of Columbus.
Columbus. Oh, sorry.
A game that we believe that if you were to look at the next 5 games, JB,
Yep.
obviously, what's the number in terms of coming home off of this 5-game trip for you?
You need like the minimum of 6 points, but you got to win this game. This game is must win. Let's talk to someone who knows more about stuff than I do.
All right, Stanley Cup champion Craig Simpson joins us now. Getting ready to call the game. Maple Leafs and the Blue Jackets. Simmer, thanks for joining us, man. How are you?
I'm doing great, guys. How are you doing?
Okay, so lots of news positive for the Maple Leafs. They get their captain back, Matthew Knies, Nicolas. Is it too much of a stretch for me to ask you, Simmer, if this is their true and only one chance for a new first impression of the season?
Yeah. Can you look like a different team, I guess, is what
Yes.
you're looking at. You know,
Yes.
they haven't been the form of themselves that they thought they would be or that they want to be. And so I think you always have these critical moments in the early part. Now we're past the early part. You know, you get to the quarter pole and you got a sense of what's missing, what's been positive. And unfortunately, there's been more in the what's missing than in the positive. So I do think every guy has looked at, you know, kind of a strange start to the season with not much long road trips, at least, to get together as a team. They haven't had any success on the road, going, 1-6 in their 7. So you haven't even had a chance to be together and feel good about each other. And you guys both know that's part of being a team, too. I mean, the collective energy of the guys the individuals drags the entire team up to a higher level. If everybody's feeling bad about their game and has nothing positive going in their psyche or in their confidence level, man, it's hard to dig yourself out of the hole. So I think this is the perfect time with 3 games in 4 nights where you say, okay, guys, this could turn the season to a disaster, right? When you've got the 3 games in 4 nights and you lose them all, it's like how further deep can you dig yourself? But I think every guy is a professional and understands the opportunity. You get 3 new bodies back in the lineup, which should give you some energy. And you have to, present yourself tonight like, forget about the must-win mentality. It's I got to do something to guarantee a win for us. Like, I got to now, this has got to be my best game of the year. And I think it starts with Matthews coming back and, being hopefully a guy that can raise his level, which raises everyone else's to follow along. But I don't think there's any question, guys. They know the severity of, not that you're looking at standings this early in the year, but they've seen it enough. You don't want that Maple Leaf at the bottom of the Atlantic or even the Eastern Conference. And you got to find a way to turn it around. And 3 games in 4 nights is a beautiful opportunity to do so.
Simmer, I'm trying to make sense of what this team really is on a true talent level, because I can look back to the start of the year and make excuses for them all the way and say, bunch of new guys trying to learn the new system, not quite fitting in. They get injured at this point. Bad luck, goaltending, whatever. Do you see a world where that's all true, where they get healthy and the new guys start to feel more comfortable and this all sort of comes together? Or do we think they're legitimately a considerably worse team than they were last season?
I think, I listened to you guys earlier, I think there's no question they're a slower team. And whether that's just physically from the personnel, but quite frankly, it's their method of play right now. They're disjointed. They're not connected. I look at their back end with the situation they have with some injuries and some veterans, being out of the lineup. There's no continuity there. There's no connection between the forwards and D. And I see often the D looking up and there's no one to give it to, or guys stretched out. Well, when you don't have the threat of the D-man being the mobile person that can beat that first forechecker and now open up some ice so that the defense can't pinch up on the forwards that are stretching out, the opposite is happening. You're making you either don't have anyone to pass to and they're on an island and don't have the ability to beat that first or second forechecker one-on-one. And now all of a sudden your game is slow, your game is retreating, you're not coming up with any speed. You can't gain the zone to get puck possession in the offensive zone. And just go back to Saturday, look at the difference of those top 2 D pairs for Montreal and just the problems they gave the defense for the Leafs and the mobility they had to carry the puck through. It forced the D to back off the line, and it was an easy entry each and every time. It really stuck out to me that's just simply not part of the Leafs' DNA right now. They don't have it, and it's evident in the way that they're not getting any kind of speed through the neutral zone. As every coach has always told you, the puck is the fastest thing on the ice. So they have to have some good puck support, close support. Can you make those 3-4 support passes from your D zone through the neutral zone that allows you to move the puck from side to side quickly without maybe not having one guy carrying it through? But until they can start getting some consistency in that, the problem that they've had is they haven't had that offensive zone puck possession time where they can continually break the puck out of their end, get on the attack, and be offensive-minded. Yeah, granted, they've been able to score goals, but I do think that's been a part of their lack of speed, and that's hurt their overall game. They've been back on their heels. They've been trapped in their own zone. And, guys, as we've seen in far too many games this year, that has been so evident in the second period where they've just been hemmed in. I think I did 3 games in a row where there was a goal scored when guys had been a minute 40 to 2:12 on the ice because they can't get the damn puck out of their own zone, and they're trapped, and it ends up in the back of the net.
You're listening to Craig Simpson, who'll be calling the game tonight for the Maple Leafs Jackets game on Sportsnet. So, Simmer, in the past, we've we've been on teams where we look out and see a top player coming back into the lineup. Messier would make a lot of guys feel good when you see him in the dressing room. What does Matthews do now to come back in after 2 weeks? And of course, there were some struggles beforehand, but what do you expect out of Matthews tonight? And is there a chance that he might put too much pressure on himself to come in and be a difference maker right away?
Well, show me a great leader that doesn't want to have the pressure heaped on his shoulders, and I'll show you a guy who's not a great leader, right? Like, I think you want that. You're itching to go in. When we were the Cup champs in '90, we started the next year 2-2-2, and Mess got hurt, and we lost 9 in a row. And so we were in this kind of situation where we're the defending champs, we're in the bottom, and how are we ever going to make the playoffs? But, when Mess did come back, it just gives your team that calmness of, okay, we've got our best player, we've got our energy guy, and we just said we got to find a way to pick it up, string some games together, and it's a collective thing. So if I look at my captain coming back tonight, I don't think as a teammate I'm saying, well, you're going to do it all. I go, what can I do to make this a positive for him tonight too? And, we talked about, or Treliving talked about changing the DNA. The hard thing with Auston is it's not his DNA to be the, rambunctious guy. He's not a hugely vocal guy. But where he's at his best, which changes the entire makeup of how the play goes on the ice, is when he's a threat, when he's jumping, when he's skating, when he's attacking. And when he uses those, he's got his legs and his hands and his head moving in the exact same speed, that's where he's a threat. And that's what changes the way the game is played on the ice. And if you've got a guy, if Knies is playing with him, I heard you before, you got to say, I got to get my game where I'm going to be aggressive. I'm going to knock a few D down. Matthews is going to come pick up the puck, will attack the net. I just think that you need some energy in the game. Part of playing slowly for this team and not playing with the pace is they're not playing with any emotion. They're not playing with any energy. You can't be a fast team or a hard team to play against if you're not seeing that energy and emotion out of everybody who's coming over the boards. And Nick, that's where whatever your role is on the team, if you're a fourth line guy and you get your first shift of the game and you guys are rolling and you're dumping it in, you get a couple of hits, the coach on the bench is going, I'm going to get them back out again, because it keeps the pressure and it keeps the cycle going and it keeps the energy of your bench up. When when Mark Messier's line sitting waiting and the fourth line hems a line in and gets all kinds of pressure, we might be able to jump on a guy who's been out there for a minute and a half. That brings the energy of the team up to another level. And the next line coming out is really aggressive, going, great job from our fourth line guys. I'm going to follow it up and we're going to score. And on good teams, they do follow up good third and fourth line shifts with the top guys putting it in the back of the net. I think that's something that's really be lacking. And for me, I want to see that from Auston. You don't have to always be, a rah-rah, intense captain to be there, but it's your play and the way that you can play. And when he's at his best, he can dictate the pace of the game, play with some good speed himself, and attack the lanes and force the D to be a little bit less aggressive, which opens up ice for everyone else.
Yeah, Simmer, I'm going to look into this here, but, last few years, Sportlogic had cycle chances. Auston Matthews was one of the top guys in the NHL at that. This year, nowhere to be seen, and the Leafs in general create almost no cycle chances. I think because they're just probably not in the zone all that much. Yeah, 32nd in the NHL in cycle chances. So some work to do there. I did want to get your thoughts on John Tavares. I'll read you his time on ice the last 5 games. 22, 20-50, 23-43, 21, 22-40. A lot of ice time for John Tavares.
Yeah.
He's been awesome for him, but boy, they got to dial him back, don't they?
Yeah, and it's an aggregate problem, right? You can do it with energy for a while, and John's had such a good there's a balance of, hey, I'm playing more, but the puck's going in the net for me. I feel better about myself. I feel good about my game. But there's also an element of reality and father time of at the best, you say that's not a sustainable number, and that's not something that if I'm Craig Berube, you did it out of necessity without the Matthews line, without other guys playing key minutes. but I don't think there's any question. That comfort zone for John is in that 17 to 18 and a half, and picking and choosing some matchups, offensive zone opportunities, say in the second period against a matchup that is favorable because of an icing. You know, all those little things that where he is so good is winning those little 50-50 battles and playing with the puck in tight. But if you've got a track meet going on, or a game like even the Montreal game where it's going end to end and back, and you're playing 22 or more in that's not a scenario that, you know, his body necessarily is made for. And I think without question that'll ease up because of Auston, and that should allow John to be what he's been all year, really, the productive sort of second guy, and maybe getting a bit of a favorable defense matchup and winning one of those, you know, puck battles in front and scoring goals. And hopefully it'll settle in a little bit with the lineup getting a little bit healthier.
Simmer, one more for me, and JB just talked about Michelli and talking about just where he's kind of feels maybe he's been caught between a rock and a hard place when it comes to, you know, the coach wants us to make plays, but he doesn't want us to turn the puck over. He wants us to dump it in, but I can't really make plays. Like, if you've been through that, have you gone through that?
Of course, Nick. I said that's the challenge of every talented player that arrives in the NHL. You know, you've been a great player in either junior, or for me in college, you're second overall, you come in with expectations. How do you make plays but gain the trust of the coach that you're not going to be a turnover machine? I heard Justin saying, of course, Mario Lemieux and Wayne Gretzky turned the puck over more than anyone else because they had the puck 60% of the game, and they had that creativity and specialness. That's the challenge that Nick Robertson's been going through for 4 years here. That's what Easton Cowan is trying to learn through here. And for me, it's situational awareness. And it's the most challenging thing for a guy to become an everyday NHLer, because you have to have some puck management. You have to have hockey sense to know, you know, is this a dangerous play? This might not be the time. I'm not Mario Lemieux. I'm not Wayne Gretzky. And if I do continually turn the puck over in this area at this time when I'm vulnerable going back the other way, you just can't help but not gain the trust of your coach. But it's all about your decision making. And in the middle of it, which is Michelli, I think at times falls into that. It doesn't look like he's all that intense at times. It's what's your effort, what's your energy like, and what's the intent of what you're trying to do. And then if you do turn it over, what's your reaction to it? Like there again, from a coaching perspective, you tried to make a really good play. It was a good thought. The situation was worth the risk. You turned it over. What do? Do you sulk and get back? You know, are you aware of, okay, now I got to get back and make that play? And to me, again, if you're not intense and you don't have that urgency in your game, that's what drives coaches crazy. And that's what's the long journey for a guy to get a little confidence. I mean, just look at Nick Robertson. Again, I think some of the turnovers come with good intent and hard energy. And now I think because he feels a little bit better about himself, he's back and, you know, make the play defensively. Go back and get the puck back again and try it all over. But that, quite frankly, Nick, is the hardest thing in the National Hockey League to achieve. And that's where some guys fail and can never quite figure it out. And other guys, after small time and failures and good discussions, find a way to have that balance and make it work.
Simmer, awesome stuff as always, man. We love that you were able to squeeze us into today on our show, and have a great call tonight, okay?
All right, guys. Thanks for having me. Cheers.
That is
Thanks,
Craig
Simmer. Appreciate
Simpson. Yeah, he's right. Like, it's got nothing to do with system. We're talking about a hockey IQ.
Yeah.
Are you smart? Make the right play.
Make the right play, dummy. So hard.
Easier
So
said
hard,
than
yeah.
done.
Yeah, so easy to say. But I get it. 100%.
All right.
He's a smart man.
Our thanks to Craig Simpson. Leaf Hour edition in the books as we get ready for the Blue Jackets and the Maple Leafs on Sportsnet National. When we return, Eric Francis will join us as we go national. Discussion on the Calgary Flames. What are their intentions? Should they not have the for sale sign up for some of their players? They should. Apparently not. More of that when we return. Real Kyper and Bourne goes national next. It's National Hour time on the Real Kyper and Bourne Show. We are live on Sportsnet 650 in Vancouver, 960 in Calgary, and streaming always on Sportsnet Plus. If you can't catch us live, give us a download at your convenience, Spotify, Apple Podcast, and YouTube. This hour of Real Kyper and Bourne brought to you by Bet365. Nick Kypreos, Justin Bourne, Disco Dan Franceschi, who is fresh off of changing the jersey in the background.
He's on point, let me tell you.
Which is a challenge for the other guys on our show.
I love when Sammy walks in front of the camera to go change the jersey.
He does a walk of shame on camera. Yeah. It is entertaining.
As it's been well pointed out, Disco Dan in for our Sammy McKee, who is out with a upper body
Undisclosed
chest.
He talked a lot
infection.
of smack about playing through injury yesterday for a guy who the next day couldn't do it.
No.
Love it.
Eric
you,
Francis, senior columnist, Flames analyst. We're going to get into the Calgary Flames a little bit here. We spent a ton of time on the Vancouver Canucks yesterday and solved nothing.
No, but boy, people liked that interview with Dollywall. They were entertained by it.
Yes.
They're entertained by the whole thing. His energy, the glasses, the holding of the camera, the takes, the whole thing was a lot.
He's kind of like Sammy a little bit, eh? He's very invested emotionally.
Yes. Absolutely.
Is that a way of putting it?
And it's good for you and I to have that. That helps us, I think.
Oh, buddy,
It's
it
gonna
carries
steal my
us.
will to live.
It carries us.
And it's like an emotional weather vane for a whole fan base. We just know where people are at after those conversations.
Little thought on the Edmonton Oilers, who I guess this is their third or fourth year of, I think, being out of the playoff window at American Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Only to prove everybody wrong.
What do they
including
care?
me last year or the year before. I can't remember. I've lost count.
Yeah.
But somehow they find a way to dig themselves out and end up in a Stanley Cup final. But last night gave no one the impression like this team is going to dig out of anything anytime soon. Yeah. They took a beating.
Yeah, typically when I come on this show and I say, the results say this, but actually I think this, it's based in something that's like, I have a reason to believe that they're better than they've been. I don't really have that reason with the Oilers.
You did the game last night.
Yeah. What's the Grinch song? The Stink, Stank, Stunk was they were brutal.
I was so happy for you that you didn't have to do the first intermission.
Me too. God.
And then I'm like, there's nothing to save you for the second intermission now.
Well, you go out there and what are you supposed to do? Like no one did anything good except for this kid, Clattenburg, who scored his first NHL goal.
Which was always nice to see.
Yeah, and actually Jack Michaels blew his voice out on the call.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened.
He sounded like Batman in the third period.
Snapped a vocal cord. It was
poor guy.
Anyway, hope he's doing good.
Okay, we'll pick up on that conversation maybe a little later in our program. In the meantime, Eric Francis is ready, senior columnist, Flames analyst, Sportsnet, joins us now. Eric, how are you, my friend?
Good. How are you, boys?
Good. So all is well on your side of the province, right? 3 games in a row, and all is good in Flames land, no?
And you're in Florida.
Problem solved. Yeah. I mean, they won 3 in a row. Clearly going to march right through into the playoffs. It's not a problem at all. No, there's so much going on in this city right now. Yeah, 3 in a row.
Okay.
They're finally playing the kind of hockey they expected, like from, the end of last year. And it's based largely on goaltending. I mean, that everyone knew that was kind of the magic component they had, with Dustin Wolf, and now Devin Cooley's been really good too as their backup, but they're still having trouble scoring goals. I don't know if you guys saw this stat. It's one of the most obscure ones I've ever thrown out there. They have a 41-game winning streak, the longest in the NHL by a mile, twice as long as Florida Panthers. When they score 4 or more goals, they are 41-0.
Wow.
So it's simple. Just score 4 goals.
Exactly.
No, not a problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
But not everybody in Flameland is really happy, particularly maybe with Don Maloney, who's come out publicly and talked about Not interested really in a rebuild, and we don't need to get rid of a 35-year-old Kadri. We need to get more of them. Like, while we watch Vancouver come out already and say we need to get younger and we need to move some of these veterans out, Calgary sounds, according to Don Maloney, they're going the other way.
Yeah, the message wasn't all that popular. The sentiment in Calgary very much right now is, hey, look, you gotta play the hand you're dealt. You're almost mathematically eliminated from the playoffs 25 games in. Lean into it. Try to get one of the top 3 picks. This organization's never picked in the top 3, for at least 1 year anyway. Embrace this. Just throw all the youngsters out there. Let them learn by making mistakes, and get rid of the old guys, cash them in for lottery tickets in the draft, and move forward that way. This organization has always been under this ownership group hesitant to do a rebuild. They're just not convinced that there's a guarantee of you getting out of the woods, and they cite Buffalo every single time for how long it can take a rebuild to, ever come to fruition. Detroit, they point to the Oilers for over a decade as well. So it's not going to happen under this ownership's watch.
Okay.
But everybody wants for 1 year for them to lean into it.
Eric, if that's the case, and Don Maloney and maybe his owner, Murray Edwards, doesn't think that the Calgary Flames fans can stomach a rebuild, are they wrong? They can?
It's a great question. I look, for 30 years I've covered this team, and it's been the same old rinse and repeat and finish in the mushy middle. And it's always striving to just barely make it into the playoffs. And if you could get through a round, that's a great year. I do think that at some point in time, look, I'll answer it by saying this. And I wrote this, I think 8 games in when they'd lost 7 in a row. This season's over. Okay. They're not going to make the playoffs.
Will people still pay tickets to go watch the game and support a rebuild?
That's right. So lean into it. They're still going to put together as good a team as they can, but do it and make it much younger and cash in on some of those older guys. They're worried about the culture. They're worried about, how the culture goes in Buffalo and Detroit and Edmonton over those dark years where it's just losing. You can't just turn a switch and make it a winning culture. They do love the culture that's been built here by Craig Conroy. They do love the way people love to play here, and they really do care for each other, that sort of stuff. But culture and ticket sales trumping over, a rebuild where they don't have any difference makers. That's the big problem here. We haven't seen one here since Jerome McGinley, and that's got to end. You got a guy like McKenna sitting there at the end of this season, and I know you're not guaranteed to get him, but if you got a shot at him, I do think you owe it to your fan base to try and get him.
And, Eric, like if I'm sitting there in a meeting with the owner of the Calgary Flames, I'm saying one of the things you can sell more than Kadri or Andersson or whatever is hope. And if you are doing a rebuild, you go the very next year. You guys, right now, the way Calgary is set up, one of the few sellers. There's almost no one selling, and they have great pieces in Kadri and Coleman and Andersson. By this summer, the Flames could have like 4 first-round picks and immediately point to these kids and say, it's coming. Like, does that to me sound something more you can sell than, hey, maybe we get hot and finish 16th?
I don't disagree. Don Maloney's counter would be that, if you're going to trade a Kadri, you're going to trade him to a team that's probably in the top 5 or 10 in the league. So your draft pick is going to be 26th or 27th overall. Same with Rasmus Andersson. He said it would be different if they could trade those guys and get a top 3 pick guaranteed overall. They'd make that trade. They would have made that trade 2 weeks ago. That's the counter argument. Listen, Maloney's interview did not go over well. Let's just suffice it to say that the brutal honesty and the feeling from the fans that they're just not willing to adjust their age-old mentality is really not going over very well. But I will just say this: we're still in November. Where are we? We're November.
Late November.
We're closing in.
We're getting close to Christmas. Look, if they're still saying the same thing in January and February and they're 14 points out of a playoff spot, then shame on them. But I really do believe that at some point this organization is going to come down to the realization that the playoffs are a pipe dream that's never going to happen this year. and that they do need to lean into this in a big, big way. And they have 3 or 4 really good pieces in which to affect that change, as you just said. And I agree with you.
So Rasmus Andersson, who's had a good last game with his 3 assists here, there's nothing to suggest that Calgary wants to re-sign him. Like, however they feel about build or rebuild here, there's only 2 ways to go: sign him or trade him.
Yeah, and I do think they'll trade him. And the reason why, look, they love him. He's one of their most important players. He logs the most minutes. He was just named Player of the Week. I mean, he's playing good hockey. He's everything that they kind of want right now. Unfortunately, he's 29 years of age, and unfortunately, he's priced himself into the stratosphere where he's probably looking at $9 million a year next year in the open market. And the Calgary Flames aren't willing to spend that sort of money on him in particular, and also in particular a 7-year deal for a guy who's 29 now. And it's 2 ships passing in the night. The Calgary Flames are getting younger, and he's getting older. So it just doesn't work out to me. That's not to say it's a done deal and he's moving on. He's still, they still have to have that conversation probably in a month or so when they finally say, okay, look, this season's over. Now let's start talking turkey. He claims they have had no conversations whatsoever since the summer. But at some point they will have to have those conversations, or the Flames may just pull the trigger. My belief is as soon as someone makes the right offer, Rasmus Andersson will be gone the next day. Yeah. And I think that's been the realistic, outcome all season long. And it hasn't been a distraction, which is the good news for the Calgary Flames. They've been distracted by all sorts of other things, I guess.
Eric, now that we're done yelling at you about making this team rebuild, so what do they currently have? What do they currently have for young guys? So I always say this to people when, their team is no good, but they point at their prospects. They're like, we got these 3 kids coming up. And I'm like, hate to break it to you, everyone has 3 kids coming up. Maybe not the Leafs, but most teams have a couple of kids. Are there any legitimate difference makers under the age of like 23 that the Flames can point to?
Yeah, I mean, Zane Parekh has been kind of a cautionary tale of rushing a guy in too early. I mean, he was their 9th pick overall, 2-time 30-goal scorer in the Ontario Hockey League. Only Bobby Orr's ever done that. Highly touted in every way. Struggled like crazy with the Calgary Flames this year, and now he's hurt. They're going to lend him to the Team Canada for the World Juniors, and hopefully he can get his confidence back there and join the team after that. He can't go to the AHL because of the contract because of where he was drafted and all that. Adar Suniev is another hot shot winger in the organization. He's playing down in the minors, had a kind of a slow start this year. The big one right now is Matt Bay-Gridden. He started the season with the team. He might have been one of their best players in preseason. He's over a point a game in the AHL this year. They're going to call him up probably in quite short order. Next injury they get to a top 6 guy, they'll call him up. I think Gridden is probably their best prospect in the organization. Zane Parex's probably the most heralded. And Dustin Wolf, I guess we're beyond calling him a prospect at this point in time. He's the backbone of the franchise.
Eric, we had Jason Bukala, who was just in Calgary watching the prospects. He says that it's a deep draft. You should have no problem picking out a nice defenseman if you're Calgary here. I look at what they have available in the next 3 years, abundance of first rounders, second rounders, third rounders. Are we going to see some of these pieces gone so they can go trade and speed up this thing as Don Maloney suggested? Is that the feeling?
Yeah. They'll trade these veterans, some of these veterans, and cash.
No, but what about the first and second rounder picks that they have available? Do we feel like those would be in play so they can go speed up this process that they're trying to avoid the rebuild? They'll use all their picks here.
Oh yeah, they're going to use all their picks. They're going to accrue more of them and use as many as they can. Get as many of these kids in the pipeline.
Okay, that sounds like a rebuild to me.
Well, I keep using I haven't trademarked it, but I'm the only guy who uses it. It's called the high build. It's a hybrid rebuild. I always say that's what they're doing in Calgary. They're trying to do the Dallas Stars model. That's their kind of goal. Look, just have a really good draft or 2 while we're also treading water, and we can get right back into the thick of things. That's the model. Mm-hmm. And Dallas did it with that big draft when they had Heiskanen and Robertson and some of these guys. But that doesn't happen very often. But if you have enough balls in the lottery machine, then maybe you get a couple cracks at that sort of stuff. So Craig Conroy says all the right things. And listen, if I had asked all the same questions I asked to Don Maloney to Craig Conroy, I don't think there would have been the vitriol that you saw. Maloney was just very honest is maybe the word. Craig's just a lot better at sugarcoating things. And his message, Craig Conroy's message is simple. Look, we're going to continue to get younger. We're going to continue to grow with our young prospects, and we're going to continue to give them chances in this lineup. So the message from him and Maloney is slightly altered.
So what about Craig Conroy? If I'm not mistaken, he has a contract that expires at the end of this year, right? Is he for sure going to be the guy guiding the high build?
Or are we going to start hearing from Don Maloney more?
Yeah, I think that ship has sailed. I think no. It's my understanding. Look, no one's really concerned. If the deal isn't already agreed upon to extend Craig Conroy, shame on the Calgary Flames. But I do believe that I know ownership values what he's done. He's also got so much emotional equity built up in this fan base. People love Craig Conroy, and they need someone right now who's going to deliver the message. Sometimes when it's tough, sometimes when it's good. And they need someone who's kind of a sympathetic guy that everybody's kind of pulling for. So Craig Conroy is their guy. Yeah, it's absolutely asinine that he does not have a contract extension in place right now. It's very, very insulting, and I think the organization should be a little embarrassed by that. But from what I understand from all my sources within, nobody's worried about that. It's going to happen if it hasn't already.
Want to follow up with another really sexy name out there, Nazem Kadri. First of all, through Don and Murray Edwards, the suggestion is we don't want him to go anywhere. So if they're leaning towards that and we take it for face value, what's going to have to happen here? Naz says, I'm good with that, or Naz goes to them and says, I really love it here in Calgary, but I'm 35 years old and I like trying to win a Stanley Cup a little bit more.
Yeah. When I look at your trade board, Kipper, I see him on there. I think that's why he is on there. Look, I do know that the organization does not want to trade Nazem Kadri, and that's a real sticking point for a lot of fans here. But it's not all their decision. Nazem Kadri could go to them and say, I want out. And at that point in time, the organization would be wise to act on that. So I can't get a sense from Nazem talking to him. I know he likes it here. I know he enjoys being a leader and a mentor for a lot of these young guys, but I also know that he's as competitive as any guy in this league and probably wants to win 2 or 3 more cups. And man, he would be a huge piece for any team to add as a second line center. I know Colorado would have him back in a heartbeat. Dallas, go down the list. Every team in the league would love to have Nazem Kadri for a playoff run. So
he's been really good too, Eric. He's been really good.
He has been really good. The points aren't huge because this is an organization that just can't score. He doesn't have enough talent around him, but he has been their best player up front for a couple of years now. 35 goals last year. I think he was 35 as a 34-year-old. I mean, he's playing some of his best hockey. So yeah, no. When he first signed his deal, 7 times $7 million, and he's got 3 more years left on that deal after this year. A lot of people said, well, that's an untradeable contract. Well, with the cap going up the way it has, that's an extremely attractive price tag for a second-line center with a Stanley Cup pedigree. So
playing the way he has.
Yeah, and playing the way he has. Yeah, I think that would be very, very – I would dare say if him and Andersson are on the trade block, come trade deadline, they've got to both be in your top 3 list. Kipper, if not, I'm going to be sending you emails every day.
No, buddy, they're very attractive right now. Very attractive.
Yeah.
Not attractive right now is Canadian hockey. The teams are struggling. I'm looking at the Pacific Division standings while you guys are chit-chatting about, who to pick off the carcass of the poor Calgary Flames right now. Bottom of the Pacific. Oh, look at this. We posted the board. Edmonton in 6th, the Canucks in 7th, the Flames in 8th.
How disappointed, Eric, were you watching that game last night for the Oilers?
Yeah, people in Southern Alberta really weep openly for the Edmonton Oilers. It's just so sad.
What's going on with them?
What do you see from there?
Oh, man, buddy, I got enough problems in my own town. I can't be starting to try to figure out the Oilers. But I will say, guys, to me, and this is coming from a Southern Albertan, they're like a bad rash. They're not going to go away. They're going to hang around and find a way to get back in the thick of this thing. And I'd be willing to bet big money that these guys are right in the thick of it, middle of the playoffs. They're still around in the second round, battling and have just as good a chance as anybody else to make it to the final. It's just the way it always goes, it seems, when you're in Southern Alberta looking up at those guys.
Be debating in my head what would
I
be a
don't know
bigger
if
day,
a lot of
Flames
Oilers-
Cup or McDavid leaves Edmonton? Which would be a bigger day for Calgary fans?
Not sure a lot of Oiler fans feel the same way,
No.
waking up this morning to last night's loss to Dallas. But regardless, should be interesting times here. Do you feel with the Olympics, Eric? I know you've got your ear to the ground on a lot of things. We're going to see some teams, even if they are, contenders still, like Toronto or Edmonton, move on something rather quickly here. Typically, teams wait, maybe even through Christmas. But with the Olympics, you think some teams are going to jump early here and try to get in on some movement?
Yeah, potentially. I mean, it always depends also on, like, look, for example, if the Calgary Flames were to lose 5 more games in a row here, then that first domino, say Rasmus Andersson, could fall a lot earlier than a lot of people thought. And then that could kickstart, all sorts of people scrambling to try and go with plan B, plan C, and plan D. So, because there are some teams that are really struggling that have some assets, I think that could kickstart it. And I think the Olympics could be a part of that too. And by the way, guys, I tried to do our nation a real solid today. I was chatting with John Cooper this morning, and I said, listen, Coop, I've been sent from my country to get the list. If you wouldn't mind just handing me over the list, we could save a whole lot of time and debate over who's going to be on the team. And he said, damn, Eric, you missed it by a day. Everybody was here yesterday, and we had a good old chat. So I guess I missed the list wherever that is right now.
Well, my list is on sportsnet.ca right now, so you can go check that out.
Well, that's what he said. He just said, just when you're talking to Bourne, his list is pretty accurate. So just go with that for now.
Absolutely. Yeah, me and Cooper tight.
Eric, great stuff, man. Really appreciate your time.
Cheers, boys. Enjoy the hockey. We'll talk soon.
Okay,
Enjoy the
you
weather
bet.
down there.
I'm trying. Thanks, boys.
All right, later, man.
Our very own Eric Francis, Sportsnet.ca and analyst for the Calgary Flames.
Tampa
on
Bay.
Sportsnet.
If you're a Calgary beat guy, you can't love getting the Florida trip in November. Like, surely, January's primo. Just get me out of Alberta winter.
You can't guarantee weather. I think it's good weather down there still.
Yeah.
January gets a little tricky. It can get cold down there, too.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, if you want to get some actual warmth, now's not a bad time.
All right, let's follow up a little bit on the Oilers here. Is this just, coming off a major road trip embarrassment, or
How much do you want to get into this?
deeper?
Because we got our whole next block reserved for this whole
Is it?
Oh, we got a lot of Oilers.
Do we got a lot of Oilers?
We can dive.
We want to do
Very
game
deep.
time, and then we'll come back to it because
think
we're going
that's
to need a
the
little
play.
bit of time.
All right, let's do it. Let's do game time. Here we go. And try my best Sammy McKee impression here. It's game time, presented by Bet365. Visit the app for the latest odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be
It's game
19
time.
plus, Ontario only. Play responsibly. 15 games. 15 games in the NHL tonight. Why?
Wow.
Because it's Thanksgiving Eve in the United States of America.
Do you know that this is the biggest party night of the year in the USA?
Oh, this is massive.
Everyone's back from university. Everyone's
Yep.
back in their hometown.
Really?
Oh man, it's hangover city tomorrow.
It's massive. Like this is their
Wednesday.
big holiday.
The Wednesday.
Yeah.
I wonder how the
before
airports
Thanksgiving.
were today.
Oh,
Ooh.
you
I'm
would
pretty
wanna know.
sure
No.
apparently in the States, this is in terms of airport travel and it's way worse than what Christmas holidays.
I
look
know.
like.
Today's a
Yeah.
nightmare. Yeah,
I don't think I've seen anything on social media about cancellation, so that's a good thing.
that's a plus.
There you go.
Good.
Positive. Air traffic. Thumbs up. All right, 15 games. I got 2, and I'm actually going to the late ones here because I was trying to decipher what I like, dislike.
Yep.
I'm going to start with the Golden Knights and the Senators. There will be some Canadian content involved in both of these. But
Right.
in Vegas tonight, Golden Knights are minus 170 favorites on the money line. This Vegas Golden Knights team, it's been an uneven start, right? Some ups and downs, ebbs and flows so far. Coming back from a 3-game road trip. I like them at home tonight against these Ottawa Senators. I really do. I know the Sens are
Did they get Mark Stone back?
they might TBD. We don't know. I don't think 100% yet.
Okay.
But he did participate in the morning skate today.
This is
He was out
relevant
there.
for Canada too.
Yeah, 100% very relevant.
Is he on your team?
If he's healthy, yes.
and he was in line rushes. He skated with, I think it was Howden and Marner, in fact. He was on a line with those two guys.
He'll play.
So it looks like he's trending in a positive direction. So give me Vegas there. 10 of their last 15 they have lost, but I think they can start to turn things in a positive direction.
You're laying pretty good juice there, Yelly. You want to bet it on the puck line? You want to get aggressive?
Well, I'm going to go. My next one's going to be a little bit more aggressive puck line here.
All right.
Last one for you. It's the late game. It's Vancouver on the road at Anaheim. You guys talked about the Canucks a lot yesterday. Mm-hmm. The Canucks are going on this road trip with 2 American Hockey League goaltenders. They are going into Anaheim to face a Ducks team that had the opportunity to sit at home for a couple of days, rest up, Joel Quinn and company, go to practice, feel good about themselves. Young team playing good hockey. Minus 160 on the money line. I said, forget that. Let's get greedy. Minus 1.5 on the spread, the puck line, plus 150. I like that for the Anaheim Ducks, and I apologize to everybody out in British Columbia.
Oh, everyone in BC is like, yeah, we agree.
Okay. All right, then I don't feel so bad.
You're not upsetting anyone. All right, those are good, pal.
That was Game Time, presented by Bet365. Let's make sure I get the read correct. Visit the app for the best odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 plus. Ontario only. Play responsibly.
Nice job, Disco. You didn't even need 4 tries like Sammy.
So, my dad got inducted into the Islanders Hall of Fame in 2005 or 2006. I forget the exact year. They fly me down from Alaska to see it, and it happens to be on Thanksgiving that I land in New York. And so the Islanders are like, all right, you're going to stay at this hotel. You're going to watch your dad's induction. My dad's like, you're not staying at a hotel. You're staying at my best friend's place. You're staying at the Gillies. So that's when I re-met my now wife.
Oh, wow.
And the first time I re-met her after being next door neighbors till we were 5 years old or whatever, it'd been 20 years since I'd seen her. She was the most hungover person anyone had ever been, right? That's like the day. And at that time, I was a bit of a drinker myself. I was like, I like this gal. I got to tell you.
That's true love.
I'm thinking going, is this a Thanksgiving story or is it a Valentine's story?
Well, it is,
and then it's like a throwing up story.
Basically, they had 3 Newfoundland dogs that came out of the door to greet me, 150 pounds each, slobbered all over me. She's hungover, wiped their drool off of me with her sleeve. I was like, it was love at first sight, Kip. That was the type of life I was into at the time. We both tidy things ever since.
Great story to go to break on. Great stuff.
Thanksgiving holds a special place in my heart.
We'll take a quick break, and when we return, more on the Edmonton Oilers and can we fix them? Back after these words. Welcome back to the program. Nick Kypreos, Justin Bourne, Disco Dan. As a reminder, this hour of Real Kyper and Bourne brought to you by Bet365. Justin, you did the hockey game last night. The only one. How do we go from 1 to 15 tonight?
Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah.
Messed up the schedule.
That's the NHL.
That is. Okay, there's always the adjustment coming off the road, but when you're watching this thing unfold last night, we obviously cover the Toronto Maple Leafs here in Toronto more than probably anybody or as much as anybody out there. Yeah. We've kind of gone through a little bit of that, but did it have a similar feel to how or worse? I think worse than what I've seen with the Leafs.
The one thing I'll say is when the Oilers are going to lose, I don't like saying these words, but they quit. They quit playing. They lost 9-1 to Colorado earlier in the year. They lost 7-3 this year. They've lost, what was last night? 8-3, I think it ended.
8-3, yep.
They get to a point where they're just like, well, it ain't happening tonight, whatever. And it was a really disheartening effort for that group.
And I do think it's worse because their expectations are much higher than the Leafs. Yeah. Much.
Oh, yeah. They're
you got a lot of hope that the Leaf fans are hopeful, but you're coming off 2 Stanley Cup finals for Oiler fans. So you watch that last night and you think about how recent you were to touching the Stanley Cup and how close you were. That is just totally unacceptable.
And, everyone yells and screams about their goaltending, and that's fine. And so last night I'm watching it, and it's bad defensive play, they hang Skinner out to dry, goal. Bad defensive play, they hang Skinner out to dry, goal. Repeat.
Well, they're all 32nd, 31st in like defensive.
Oh yeah, everything. Expected goals against, shots
everything.
against, chances against. So I'm saying, okay, not really Skinner's fault, not really Skinner's fault. And eventually you go, okay, you're allowed to make one hard save. Steal them one. You know, like if it's Shesterkin and net or whoever, a couple of those grade A's, they just take away and you go, can't have that one. So they're all to blame. You know, I'm blaming the defense, the structure, the goaltending. It's all to blame. And I think the most disheartening thing is you looked at that decor. People really talked them up. Oh, underrated, good decor. How many guys were standing beside Stu Skinner or Calvin Pickard, just upright, just tucking in pucks, no stick on them, no body on them? It was a brutal.
I want to go
defensive
back to the quitting part that you mentioned. We have Knobloch on clip 3 on the Oilers' lack of competitiveness.
We have to ramp it up, but I don't want to say that we got a lot of guys who are just frustrated. It's not that they've checked out or don't care. That would be concerning. These guys do care. They haven't checked out, but they definitely are discouraged and don't see much optimism right now. So that's uplifting to know that we can work with that. But I think we need to have, as a coaching staff starting there, instill some hope, and that's with finding a solution to how we can play better.
What did I miss there? That he said that no one can see any hope, so it's good, uplifting that we can start there.
Does it get any more vanilla than that?
Yeah, well, I mean,
That's him being asked point blank, are you concerned that your team isn't showing enough compete? That's literally what he was asked.
Can he get them out of this thing? Like,
I don't know.
I get that he's been to a couple of finals now, and you know that in itself is earning him a lot of respect. But I'm just listening to that, and I don't know. I mean, I'm looking for more. I'm looking for a little bit more passion, a little less vanilla disco.
I think it depends on what you want your coach to be. Do you want your coach to be Herb Brooks, or do you want them to be tactically good, or do you want them to be
How many cups did Herb win?
0? Is the answer 0? I have no idea.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if he's going to be able to push these guys. Like he sounds like a guy, in all honesty, that wants to kind of befriend these kids.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's okay. Hammer them a little bit here. Give it to them. This is a business.
Yeah.
This is winning. This is you. I need more out of you. Okay. We need more out of you.
Yeah,
Like,
I just don't know if you can change, though, Kip. If you've been vanilla, you can't show up one day and be like, I'm Rocky Road, baby. Everyone's like, we know you're not. We know you're not.
I mean,
You had marshmallows in your head. You look ridiculous.
I get it from the perspective of what is this, 25 games in. Just in the Stanley Cup final and back-to-back years with the same coach, same mentality, same approach. And overnight, they go from being a team that's potentially closing in on trying to win a cup, be it game 7 of the cup final, or then, 3 wins away from the Stanley Cup final. And you go from that to all of a sudden, your defensive structure and everything falls off a cliff. Like, there is more weight. Like, he comes from a position with more, what shall we say, license, if you will, because of what's happened.
Yeah.
There are plenty of other markets where, you hear that, and the guy hasn't been to a cup final or multiple. Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. The reaction is starkly different.
The defensive issues is something we should listen, chat about.
Clip 2, Knobloch on defensive issues.
Absolutely. It's been a 180. Last year, we were one of the best defensive teams. And right now, we're one of the worst. We've given up the most goals, almost the most chances, stuff like that. And we were making some progress on the road trip. And, that's got to change. That's from the back end. That's from the forwards, and it's from the coaching staff, where we need to look at how we're defending. We've spent a lot of time addressing that, trying to improve, have clarity because of the amount of players that we've changed, that we've had a lot of review. But we need to think about maybe doing something differently, because it can't be that they just don't know right now.
Yeah, look. So he also talked before the game. They actually were changing systems. Which is something that's pretty desperate, right, for a team that, like you said, back-to-back Cup finals and some success in those finals. They're physically changing up the way they're playing now, which my understanding is that only in the neutral zone is the only place they're making a change. But they're grasping at straws, right? They're trying to do something. The goalie thing too.
Well, yeah. I just want to. It needs to be said too, and we've had this discussion briefly about Paul Coffey no longer being there. Now, I don't know Paul Coffey well. I have seen him around on occasion, golfed with him once or twice.
That sounds like knowing someone.
He's a pretty intense guy.
Yeah.
Okay. Very intense guy. I'm just wondering, like, when he left, did that take the edge off of some of these guys? Did it get them to relax? Did it get them to feel like, I don't know who they're dealing with, Paul McFarland and Mark Stewart now? And is it a different relationship where, like, how can the majority of those guys who are still there go from that last year to this? Like, what happened? What happened? Like, why are these same guys looking like, I'm watching all of them, and there's like,
What happened to Brett Kulak?
What happened to Kulak? What happened to Ekholm?
Yeah.
Nurse.
But you know what?
Like, what is Nurse? Nurse, you make $9.5 million. You're not an offensive guy. You're a hard shutdown guy. Where are you?
Yeah, but does this not take the players off the hook? Like yesterday, we were talking about firing a coach for the Leafs, and you guys are going, it takes the core off the hook. Going, you don't have your blanket of Paul Coffey behind the bench. Any lesson he could have given him, he would have given him. There's no new information to give him, right? Like, these guys should know what it takes to win in this league.
It's just someone in your face to go and push you every day, Justin. You know what it is? It's not a lesson. It's accountability.
Okay.
That's what it is. Okay. Holding these guys accountable.
You know what? I know a little bit about Paul McFarland. He's got the exact same demeanor cadence as Chris Knobloch.
No good.
I
do not need two of them.
Yeah,
don't. I need a frick to a frack.
Yeah.
I need something.
Not even a knock. He knows the stuff. It's just they're the same.
No, but they're all supposed to have different roles. And,
No.
by that,
No, don't need two or three of those guys.
Exactly. Like you need your guy that, and you guys have done it. You have your coaches that you go to that you can confide in and have those more, comfortable conversations with. And you have others that you're, I know that guy's intense, and that's fine.
Paul could ride a guy. He could grind a guy. He could make him understand, listen, we're going to work here. Okay, don't mail it in. Don't come in. You had a night before. You were out till 1 o'clock. No problem. But you better show up for work.
Yeah.
That's the kind of noise that we've been heard over our careers in the NHL. Yeah. People that sit there, and it's not X's and O's. It's just looking you in the eye and say, do you understand why you're here? Do you understand why you make $9 million? Because it's not for last night. I don't know if they've got someone on that bench every day to look at these guys.
The only counter I have to this is that their core two guys are competitors. They get frustrated, they get animated, and maybe too much of that. I don't mean with Coffey in general, but maybe these calmer coaches work with them because they're high energy. We have a McDavid quote on his frustrations with the team performance. Clip one. Got a McDavid clip one, sorry.
there were maybe some positive signs towards the end of that trip, Connor. How do you kind of account for what showed up in that first period?
Not good. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have many answers for you here tonight. I don't know. I don't have any answers, as I said.
So big picture defensively is something you guys have, been struggling with this year more than in previous years. So how concerning is it that the D side of the game is as far off as it is right now?
I think it stems from the whole thing. We're not good enough with the puck. And it's leading to sustained, time in our D zone. It's the whole thing, we're not getting up the ice, not forechecking pucks back, and we're playing too much in the D zone. There's not many D zone systems that hold up after, 30, 40 a minute in your D zone. It's tough to defend.
God, if I'm Knobloch listening to that, I'm just like,
When your captain goes,
it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's so uncomfortable.
And so I'll say this. I'm reading today, like a couple days ago, Elliott said on 32 Thoughts, look at Pittsburgh for a goalie for Edmonton. They got Jari, Shilovs, Murashov, Blomqvist. They got some goalies.
Buddy.
Weeks said the same thing today.
Go get a proven winner.
Binner.
Don't
winner,
give
winner,
me,
chicken binner.
Do not give me Jari. Okay, please. Don't give me Jari in Edmonton. Enough. Proven winner. Listen, Binnington stinks this year. I don't care. But that guy has shown he's hit a level where you can look at him twice in his career. Once with the St. Louis Blues and once with Team Canada and Four Nations and go, that guy's a winner. Give me a proven winner. Don't give me Jari. Okay? Binnington is on Team Canada. People sit there and go, he's not going to be on Team Canada. But that guy could let in 10 goals a game from here to February.
He has. Good thing.
He's going.
I wrote my article
he may
today.
Not
I have
start,
him on there.
He may not start, but he's going. You know why he's going? He's a proven winner, and he's a gamer.
He's got moxie.
I think that last part is important, Kyper. I think the temperament of the guy is important. I think Edmonton needs one of those. I don't think Tristan Jarry, he could be a fine goaltender. Fine. But the temperament of what they need, it's Jordan Binnington.
Why don't we listen to Connor McDavid, clip 2 on goaltending?
I really feel like goaltending is a team thing. Tough for goalies to look good when the group in front of them is not playing well. I don't really care who it is. When the team in front of them is not playing up to their standards, then tough for a goalie to look good. Felt bad for both of them tonight.
Good for him for not throwing Skinner under the bus.
Man.
Good for him.
There's a report.
That's the way you do it publicly.
Yes, of course.
And then whatever you do behind the scenes, go get a goalie, Connor.
Yeah.
Go walk in that door and say, get me a goalie.
Yeah, he actually should, right? Like he should take the bull by the horns and be like, what are we doing?
I'm surprised there wasn't a stipulation on the contract.
Yeah. For a fun extension.
He had all summer. I'm sure, was he not nudging them? Right. Maybe this is something we can do?
Yeah. Like, again, not blaming Skinner for last night, but
no.
You just need
You get
help.
a different goalie there. It'll give you a different vibe. Yeah. You hope that, Binnington's got an intensity too, man.
Exactly.
He's not scared of giving guys hairy eyeballs either.
Yeah.
Puck just kept going in the net.
Should we talk about Quinn Hughes while we have a little time here?
Yeah.
Frank Staravalli had a clip today.
Yeah.
Where he was just talking about this, and everyone's talking about Quinn Hughes. He's in the news, right? It's like the Canucks are bad.
Everybody.
So it all kind of hinges what's going on, the rebuild there around what's the deal with Hughes' future. Let's listen to Frank Staravalli.
I got to tell you, I've done a lot of, investigative work, quote unquote. I've made a lot of phone calls in the last week to try and drill down on the Quinn Hughes story. And the people closest to him that know him best say he's 100% committed to the Canucks and doesn't plan on going anywhere. So take that for what you will.
And Kip, what will you take that for?
I don't believe you.
Listen,
Thanks,
Frank's been around a long time. He's got great sources. He's a respected man in the insider industry. Is there a chance that the people close to him that know him best really don't know him best? That's the wiggle room in all of this. And again, what is exactly doesn't plan on going anywhere? If we asked Frank or these people that know him best, does that mean that he's re-signing a long-term deal? Can we substitute he doesn't plan on going anywhere and substitute it with he plans on re-signing? Is that the same?
No, I do think that unless you're asking to be traded today, you're the captain of an NHL team, and that's what you have to.
He's got the rest of this year and next year.
Right.
I'm committed to that. I'm planning on not going anywhere for this year and next year.
If you say anything other than that, immediately the team goes, well, I guess we have to trade him.
Yeah.
Since he said, I'm not committed to being here.
But Quinn isn't acting like a guy that on a number of occasions, even at the beginning of the season or whatever, that he's really all in on re-signing here. He doesn't want to go anywhere. I want to be here long term. Has he ever really come out at any point? He could just put the fire out right now, tomorrow, saying, guys, the report on Frank Saravelli, I'll stand by. I don't plan on going anywhere.
Yeah.
He's towing the line.
I'd like to be here for my career.
But they don't. They just let it keep running like wildfire.
But the reason he has to is because he doesn't want to look like a complete hypocrite when that's not the case.
There you go.
You know, when he does eventually say, okay, well, my contract's up and I'd like to be somewhere with a chance to win.
So we're right back to where we were before.
Well, it reminds me very much of the interview at the start of the year where Elliott and Kyle sat down with him and said, you know, what would it take for the Canucks for you to be in Vancouver for good? And he was like, well, it's got to be, let's have some fun here. Let's have a great year and have some fun, then we'll see. And I was like, oh.
It's not very reassuring.
Yeah. So
the players today in the National Hockey League, the top players, have never had more power and strength to call their shots, whether or not they've got no trade clause or trade clauses or, you know, and the best example of that is Matthew Tkachuk went up to Calgary, did them a favor. Don't want you to go take me all the way to the end and then have me walk out the door for nothing. I'm giving you a heads up. Boom, gone. I mean, does Quinn Hughes plan on doing that? Does Connor plan on doing that in 3 years?
I mean, if you are a player in that position now, I think you have to look at the way guys have exited. You know, I'll use Tavares and Marner as examples where fans are going to go, a boo, when you come back versus the Tkachuk way where people go, all right, you gave us a chance to get a player. Maybe we don't like who we got, but you gave us a shot at it. It's probably best for your legacy for these guys to come out and say, I'm not coming back. You got a year. Go ahead and get what you
Connor's covered his legacy. He gave them a 2-year contract at no money.
Yeah.
You know why he did that? So he can walk out the door with his head up high.
And come back to Edmonton. People go, thank you for the 10 years. We had great runs.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you for
he's not a
Stanley
villain.
Cup in 2026.
I didn't hang you out. I gave you 2 years of free money.
And then you brought in Tristan Jarry and thought it was going to make the difference.
That was the solution. I like the culture that we're at, though, with players and that dynamic. Because I think it's also
look at the NBA, and it's
well, that's what I was going to say. It's incumbent. It's also incumbent on the front offices to do this too.
Yeah,
you got to be responsible and go to these guys and make those decisions and have those conversations. That's part of the deal.
Totally. If you're not going to be here, I need to know. All right,
Disco.
Yeah, Kip.
Great effort. Great effort today.
Thank you.
Great reads.
My pleasure, gents.
Great lineup.
Appreciate you.
Look how thorough it is. Look, people.
You got to show up an extra hour early to get through this thing. All the clips.
And do a really great lineup, and I'll have to hear it from Kyper for 3 weeks.
Thanks,
So
Sammy.
I decided to come into
Quotes
work.
from 7 different interviews.
Sammy, if you're not blowing your nose, we wish you the best, pal.
Yeah.
If you can hear me now. All right. Our thanks to Craig Simpson, Eric Francis, and once again, Disco. We're back tomorrow, boys. Have a great night, everybody. 15 games. Pick yours.